Yesterday, I spoke of the duplicitous hearts of the people of Israel and Judah in forsaking the Lord and serving idols and involving themselves in witchcraft and idolatry. And then eventually coming to revere the Lord while still practicing witchcraft and idolatry. And so God's anger remained against them. And so let's learn a lesson from this. We cannot ride the fence. The fence belongs to the devil. If you are dabbling in astrology and think you're a Christian, you're on the fence. If you are dabbling in anything, in gratifying the lust of the flesh and thinking that you are serving God also and you love God also, you're on the fence. And Jesus says that in judgment, he will spit you out of your mouth because you're lukewarm, you are not devoted. Now, today we are going to look at a heart that is not duplicitous. It is a singular heart, a faithful heart, and it is the heart of King Josiah. But first, I want to read from Isaiah 57, verses 1 and 2. It says, "The righteous man perishes, and no man takes it to heart. And devout men are taken away while no one understands, for the righteous man is taken away from evil. He enters into peace. They rest in their beds, each one who walked in their upright way." So this is scriptures telling us that there are righteous people whom God removes from the evil to come. Now, these righteous people are not removed by a rapture. They die. This rest is, and this perishing is a death. They physically die and God takes them home to be with them, but they die at peace with the Lord. Now, not all God's children are taken away. Some are left for the fiery trials because they still need to be purified. God is not willing that any should perish, and some are not ready to go be with him. They still need the purification. They still need to go through the fiery trials and to endure, and these will remain and go through trials and tribulations because God, Jesus Christ, is coming for a spotless bride. But let's look at King Josiah. He was 8 years old. This is in 2 Kings 22 and 23. I'm going to read bits and pieces of it, okay? So we can learn the story of Josiah, who had a faithful heart. He was 8 years old when he became king, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Jedidah, the daughter of Adiah of Bozkath. He, Josiah, did right in the sight of the Lord and walked in all the way of his father David, nor did he turn aside to the right or to the left. He walked on the narrow way. Now, in the 18th year of King Josiah, the king sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of the Lord, saying, "Go up to Hilkiah, the high priest, that he may count the money brought into the house of the Lord, which the doorkeepers have gathered from the people. Let them deliver it into the hand of the workmen who have the oversight of the house of the Lord, and let them give it to the workmen who are in the house of the Lord to repair the damages of the house, to the carpenters and the builders and the masons, and for buying timber and hewn stone to repair the house. Only no accounting shall be made with them for the money delivered into their hands, for they deal faithfully." Then Hilkiah the high priest said to Shaphan the scribe, "I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord." So when they were doing these renovations, he found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, who read it. Shaphan the scribe came to the king and brought it back word to the king and said, "Your servants have emptied out the money that was found in the house and have delivered it into the hand of the workmen who have the oversight of the house of the Lord." Moreover, Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, "Hilkiah the priest has given me a book." And Shaphan read it in the presence of the king. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Then the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, Ahikam the son of Shaphan, Achbor the son of Micaiah, Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah the king's servant, saying, "Go inquire of the Lord for me and the people and all Judah concerning the words of this book that has been found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that burns against us, because our fathers have not listened to the words of this book, to do according to all that is written concerning us." So Hilkiah the priest, Ahikam, Achbor, Shaphan, and Asaiah went to Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tikvah, the son of Harhas, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she lived in Jerusalem in the second quarter. And they spoke to her. She said to them, Thus says the Lord God of Israel, tell the man who sent you to me, thus says the Lord, behold, I bring evil on this place and on its inhabitants, even all the words of the book which the king of Judah has read, because they have forsaken me and have burned incense to other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the work of their hands. Therefore my wrath burns against this place, and it shall not be quenched. But to the king of Judah who sent you to inquire of the Lord, thus shall you say to him, thus says the Lord God of Israel, regarding the words which you have heard, because your heart was tender, and you humbled yourself before the Lord, when you heard what I spoke against this place and against its inhabitants, that they should become a desolation and a curse, and you have torn your clothes and wept before me. I truly have heard you, declares the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will gather you to your fathers, and you will be gathered to your grave in peace, and your eyes will not see all the evil which I will bring on this place. So they brought back word to the king. So just as we read in Isaiah, God is going to deliver the king from seeing the evil, and he is going to cause him to rest and rest with his fathers. He has peace with God, and he will be delivered, and he will be delivered through death, physical death. So in 2 Kings 23, the king sent, and they gathered to him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. The king went up to the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant which was found in the house of the Lord. So now the king's causing the people to hear it. The king stood by the pillar and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and all his soul, to carry out the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people entered into the covenant. So then the king Josiah does reforms. He tears down every high place. And even they had built altars and high places and idolatrous places, even in the temple of the Lord, in the house of the Lord. He tears all of them down. He kills various priests and prophets of these Baals and these different gods that the people were worshiping. He literally cleaned the place out. You can read what he did in 2 Kings 23, verses 4 through 20. Verse 20 says, to wrap up what he did, all the priests of the high places who were there, he slaughtered on the altars and burned human bones on them, and then he returned to Jerusalem. I mean, he literally just annihilated all the idolatrous areas in Judah there and around the temple and the house of the Lord. Then the king reinstated Passover. He commanded all the people, saying, verse 21, it is celebrate the Passover to the Lord your God, as it is written in the book of the covenant. Surely such a Passover had not been celebrated from the days of the judges who judged Israel, nor in all the days of the king of Israel and the kings of Judah. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, this Passover was observed to the Lord in Jerusalem. So he reinstated the Passover. And moreover, Josiah removed the mediums and the spiritists and the teraphim and the idols and all the abominations that were seen in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem, that he might confirm the words of the law which were written in the book that Hilkiah the priest found in the house of the Lord. Before him there was no king like him, who turned to the Lord with all his heart and with all his soul and with all his might, according to all the law of Moses, nor did any like him arise after him. Now let's remember the promise God had made to Josiah. It says in verse 26, however, the Lord did not turn from the fierceness of his great wrath with which his anger burned against Judah, because of all the provocations with which Manasseh had provoked him. The Lord said, I will remove Judah also from my sight, because the Lord had removed Israel from his sight. Now he was removing Judah from his sight, as I have removed Israel. And I will cast off Jerusalem, this city which I have chosen, and the temple of which I said, my name shall be there. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up to the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. And King Josiah went to meet him. And when Pharaoh Necho saw him, he killed him at Megiddo. His servants drove his body in a chariot from Megiddo and brought him to Jerusalem and buried him in his own tomb. Then the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and anointed him and made him king in place of his father. Jehoahaz did not do right before the Lord, but his father Josiah certainly did. And because of his faithfulness, God did not turn from his wrath against Judah, but he did deliver Josiah from seeing the wrath and from seeing the evil which was to come to take place in Jerusalem. So this was the righteous heart. Sometimes the righteous heart and the faithful heart will be removed even from evil times to come. So I just wanted to share this story today. I'm thinking of us all. I'm praying for us all. Turn to Jesus Christ and live and stay on the narrow way. Don't ride the fence. Stay focused, myopic in your focus and your purpose. Eyes on Jesus Christ, to obey him and to follow him and to love him with all your heart and to love others. God bless and keep you. I'm praying for us all.